Hi everyone, I'd like to introduce to you my project which is called the Zero Waste Landscape. The project is about a solution for the water problem on the Campine Plateau by giving a new purpose to landfills. In this way, the drought and the polluted groundwater at my project site will be taken care of. The pixel I got includes Untitled. Before starting the design, I did an analysis of the place that gave me information about the soil types, the heights in the pixel, and the sensitivity of the soil to drought. This is how I found out that the soil in Untitled is a sandy soil and is very sensitive for drought. When I found out during this analysis that there was a huge landfill of industrial and hazardous waste in my pixel, my project location was quickly found. The landfill, called Remostort, lies northwest of the center of Helchteren. To the left of the site we find a nature reserve and to the right a forest, which is currently not an attractive place due to the presence of the landfill. When I did my research on the landfill, it turned out that the place was already very well known, but not in a positive sense. I found out that the place had been closed since June 2020 and that the waste was causing a huge nuisance in terms of smell and also polluted groundwater. One of the first things I did was look at which types of waste are present on the landfill. I found out that there are hazardous substances like soil with asbestos and asbestos cement waste. There is also industrial waste present like residues of soil cleaning, industrial sludge and shredder waste. Then I looked how the landfills were built. What they first did was dig a pit and place a layer of clay on top of it. Then they place a leak detection and on top of it a waterproof film. Finally, they place sand on top of the films and later on they can dump their waste here. When we look at the organization of the landfill, we can see that for the moment waste is only situated in the red areas. In the blue area, Eco Valley is situated. Here you can find a water treatment plant where the leakage is being purified. This purified water goes to the pond on top of the site. Another groundwater problem located on the site is the implementation of the pine forest next to the landfills. Pine trees have needles during the whole year, so water evaporates all the time and can almost not infiltrate in the soil. Leaf trees lose their leaves in the winter and are less dense than pine trees, so infiltration is better. So my first solution would be to chop some of the pine trees and replace them with leaf trees. In this way, water will have the chance to infiltrate better on the location. The wood that we have left from the chopped trees could be further reused in some elements of my project, but I will talk about that later. This is a section of the current situation and shows us the water problem on the location. Water infiltrates in the piles with waste and creates polluted water. This polluted water is partly drained by a drainage system, but also partly soaks into the soil, currently polluting the groundwater. My solution for the problem is a 4-step process that makes the end result a safe environment where there is no more waste and where we have an elevated groundwater level with clean water. In this way, the place would also get a new function. I have chosen for a recreational park where horses also can be accommodated. I chose to implement recreation on the site because there is only one recreation park in the area, which is called the Plas. I also chose this function to make the nature reserve, called the Helderbeekvallei, and het Kraanbergbos, which lie next to it, much more attractive to visit. Another thing I wanted to implement are horses. This is based on my fascination. Also, there are only 2 horse farms in the region. By adding horses to my project, I could increase the number of horses in the region and provide an additional accommodation. It could also be a pleasant location for people to come and walk with their horses in the woods. So now I would like to take you through my process so you will know how I get to this end result. In the first step, I would apply phytoremediation and hydrophilic filters to purify the polluted water. This involves plants using their roots to absorb pollutants and purify soil or water. In the second step, a giant machine would move across the project site. excavating the waste which is still present on the site and converting it inside the machine into new materials such as clean soil, minerals, fibers, plastics and metals. The clean soil is taken out of the machine during the process and dumped next to it. Here you can see a plan of what the site will look like during the second step. The pine forest has been transformed into a mixed forest and there are some mountains where the phytoremediation process takes place. Next to these mountains are piles of clean soil. In black, we see the machine that digs up the waste. This will move over the entire project site. After the machine has dug up the waste, pits will be created. These pits will fill with water after a rainfall, creating ponds where the water can infiltrate. Next to the ponds, mountains are created from clean soil. The other new materials that are created can be used in the next step. So in the last step of our process, recreation and horses are added. This recreation consists of a children's playground, ponds for water sport, hiking trails and parks where there is the opportunity to picnic or to rest. The accommodation for the horses consists of bridle pads, pastures, stables and a riding area. This is what the final plan for the site will look like after all the processes. In the back is the horse accommodation, in the middle 4 ponds are created where water sports can be practiced, in between is a picnic area and a playground, and along the edges of the park there are mountains with clean soil on which walking trails run and from which a viewpoint will emerge. And finally, a 3D image that shows the view on top of a mountain, which gives a view of the landscape where it is safe and pleasant to walk around in, created out of new materials and allowing infiltration back into the environment.